app and watch live TV. Watch live TV on sunfmzambia.net. Follow us on Twitter at sunfmzambia. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch live shows and podcasts. Everyone is not just listening. Now everyone is watching.
The news.
With the news, my name is Alan Mwale. The headlines. The Human Rights Commission has hailed the formulation of a national action plan on business and human rights as a pivotal milestone in Zambia's commitment to safeguarding human rights and amid rising investment activity. The Ministry of Technology and Science has underscored the urgent need to realign workforce competencies with the evolving demands of the tourism sector. The Patriotic Front has sharply criticized the government for allegedly politicizing the burial of the late 60th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. In sports, a Zambian striker Kingston Mutandwa has joined the newly promoted Austrian Bundesliga side SV Ried on loan from Italian Serie A club Cagliari with an option to buy. We have the news in detail shortly.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
The Human Rights Commission has hailed the formulation of a national action plan on business and human rights as a pivotal milestone in Zambia's commitment to safeguarding human rights amid rising investment activity. On the sidelines of a stakeholder consultative forum in Livingston, Director of Research and Planning, Foster Hamoyube, said that the action plan seeks to align investment and development initiatives with the overarching imperative of protecting human dignity. The Commission further expressed concern that as Zambia undertakes major economic ventures, such as the targeted production of 3 million tons of copper and the development of the Lobito Corridor, it is imperative to establish robust mechanisms that prevent potential human rights violations. Mr. Hamoyube underscored that while economic advancement is vital, it must remain people-centered. He stressed that this necessitates coherent policies and a comprehensive national framework that demonstrates a strong governmental commitment to upholding human rights, enhancing living standards, combating poverty, and reducing inequality.
As a country, I think we are moving in a trajectory where there's a lot of promotion of investment. Now, investments, whether in whatever form it comes in, has a lot of potential to adversely impact on people's dignity and human rights. And the intention here by government is to make sure that even when they are pushing for this development, that we hear them talking about the production of the 3 million tons of copper, the Lobito Corridor, the agricultural investments, and all sorts of investments. And it doesn't matter what kind of investment and the size of investment. The potential for abuse and violation of human rights is quite high. Now, I think the intention here by government to make sure that even as they are pushing for this development, they are pushing for this developmental trajectory, there should also be measures put in place to make sure that the resultant abuse and violation of human rights is taken care of.
Meanwhile, Zambia Alliance of Women Programs manager Caesar Katebe underscored the importance of collaboration between business and local communities. He noted that such coexistence should be grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Mr. Katebe asserted that businesses bear a responsibility to respect human rights, while government must play a proactive role in ensuring that those rights are upheld.
And to that extent, this is something that we recognize as a milestone, in our country's strengthening of national laws that speaks to business and human rights. We also have seen, for example, there are pronouncements that government has made in terms of increasing production of 3 million metric tons of copper. What does this entail? It entails that a lot of land will be taken away from communities. But how do we harness that opportunity that could provide an opportunity for everybody to not be left behind? We need to realize that even as communities partner with multinationals, communities need to drive the benefits that are coming as a result of this resource extraction.
The Ministry of Technology and Science has underscored the urgent need to realign workforce competencies with the evolving demands of the tourism sector. Speaking at the official opening of the Skills for Trade and Economic Diversification State Technical and Policy Foresight Workshop in Livingstone, Permanent Secretary Dr. Brilliant Habenzu expressed concern that only 28% of youths in Zambia's labor force have received formal or technical or vocational training. Dr. Habenzu highlighted the importance of inclusive and targeted interventions, particularly for youth, women, and rural populations. He observed that although tourism accounted for approximately 7% of the gross domestic product, GDP, and supported over 470,000 jobs prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, a significant digital divide continues to impede equitable access to opportunities. In of training programs in critical areas such as e-commerce, data analytics, and virtual tourism technologies to better equip the workforce for the digital era.
The Zambian government is ramping up efforts to make the tourism sector a key driver for economic growth, focusing on skills development, sustainability, and labor rights. At the Skills Trade and Economic Diversification Workshop, organized by the International Labour Organization with the support from the EU in Livingstone, stakeholders from Zambia and the SADC region met to chart a new course for the sector. Dr. Brilliant Habenzu, guest of honor at the workshop, underscored the importance of repositioning tourism for inclusive growth and job creation.
We're going to skill up the relevant skills that are needed in this key driver. Not long ago, as a means of technology and science, we are launching some curricula, but time has come for us now to also focus on this very, very important pillar in our economic transformation job creation agenda in the 8 National Development Plan, which is tourism. And this is the more reason we are here today.
And ILO Director Willington Chibebe noted that tourism contributed nearly 10% to Zambia's GDP in 2022, but warned that the progress depends on building the right skills.
It is known fact that Zambian government reforms and private sector investments have boosted the sector, with international tourism arrivals rising by 90% in 2022. However, challenges remain, and these challenges are: 1, skills shortages, limit services, quality competitiveness.
Earlier, the Zambia Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Studies chairperson Mulemu Amonga raised concerns over critical skills shortage, while Labour Permanent Secretary Zakaria Ruhanga warned of rising casualization and exploitation.
The guidelines are to increase tourism education across the country. The hope is that there will be more programs at TVET level in universities and other institutions of higher learning. We are looking, guest of honor, to update the tourism curriculum that is being delivered in the school system.
The government has also witnessed a sharp growth of the tourism industry sector that has also led to increased casualization and workplace abuse of workers by some employers. I'm emphasizing this because Mr. Kakunta from ZCTU highlighted, and I want to support him because we do receive reports ourselves, both in confidence or otherwise.
For the Tourism Council and the Zambia Congress of Trade Union, representatives echoed the call for strong partnerships, better training and improved worker protections.
Capacity and training for tourism stakeholders, advocacy and policy support for the tourism industry.
That is noted that in Livingstone and the surrounding areas, over at least 60% of the businesses are tourism-related businesses, and therefore we feel that this program has really come at the right time.
The challenges that we find in the tourism sector, guest of honor, is that the skills that are provided in this sector, sometimes they fail to meet certain expected standards.
If these challenges are tackled, Zambia's tourism industry could create thousands of quality jobs and drive inclusive development. Augustine Kapambwe for Sun TV News in Livingstone District, Southern Province.
The Patriotic Front has sharply criticized the government for allegedly politicizing the burial of the late 60th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. PF Secretary General Raphael Nakachinda claims that United Party for National Development UPND aligned online media platforms have been weaponized to spread disinformation and manipulate public perception. In an interview with South Africa's Newsroom Africa, Mr. Nakachinda accused media outlets believed to be linked to the State House of publishing propaganda, including what he described as a bizarre and unfounded report suggesting that the late President Lungu traveled to South Africa under a false identity. He further asserted that the government's call for the repatriation of the former head of state's remains lacked sincerity and was politically motivated rather than guided by national unity or respect for a departed leader. Mr. Nakachinda lamented what he termed a disturbing level of mockery surrounding the death of and the funeral of Dr. Lungu, particularly by media entities viewed as sympathetic to the ruling party. He concluded by expressing disbelief at the government's obsessive desire to control the funeral arrangements, arguing that this fixation undermines the solemnity and national significance of the moment and disrespects the legacy of the late president.
In politicizing this whole process, when you look at the propaganda machinery, media pages or outlets that are run by State House, would run very, very disturbing propaganda, stories. The fact that the late president actually came with a different identity. He got, a passport from Zimbabwe. They are not even sensitive to, diplomatic relations with neighboring countries like Zimbabwe. So that, approach only speaks to the fact that our government, while they are trying to, play to the gallery and say they are interested in having his remains repatriated to Zambia, given a dignified, send-off to the international community, what is happening on the ground is totally different.
And in sports, Zambian striker Kingston Mutandwa has joined the newly promoted Austrian Bundesliga side SV Ried on loan from Italian Serie A club Cagliari with an option to buy. Mutandwa signed for Cagliari from Atletico Lusaka in August 2023 and was initially aligned and assigned to the youth team before being promoted later that year. In the youth setup, the 22-year-old featured in 18 matches, scoring 5 goals, a performance that earned him a place in the senior squad. Last year, he extended his contract with Cagliari, committing to the club until 2028. However, since his promotion, he has only made 12 appearances across all competitions, scoring just once. With the loan move to Ried, Mutandwa will be hoping to follow in the footsteps of compatriots like Patson Daka and Enoch Mwepu, who rose to prominence in the Austrian league while at RB Salzburg before securing moves to Leicester City and Brighton, respectively. Ried earned promotion to the top tier after winning the Austrian second-tier league last season. With the Mutanda in their ranks, the club will hope he provides the firepower needed to help them stay in the Bundesliga beyond next season. For the news to end, we recap on the headlines. The Human Rights Commission has hailed the formulation of a national action plan on business and human rights as a pivotal milestone in Zambia's commitment to safeguarding human rights and rising investment activity. The Ministry of Technology and Science has underscored the urgent need to realign workforce competencies with the evolving demands of the tourism sector. The Patriotic Front has sharply criticized government for allegedly politicizing the burial of the late 60th Republican President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. In sports, Zambian striker Kingston Mutandwa has joined the newly promoted Austrian Bundesliga side SV Ried on loan from Italian Serie A club Cagliari with an option to buy. That's where we end. To have a great one. My name is Alan Wale. Stay tuned.
The News, 88.5 Sun FM.